What is up? GoodMicWork back at you with your Hell in the Cell reaction video. Hell in the Cell 2015 is in the books, and I gotta say it was a pretty damn good pay-per-view. I don't have too many complaints about this thing, although I might have a couple. I think WWE did a really solid job of making sure the audience in Los Angeles got a good show. I mean, that is a big-time building and a big-time crowd, and the WWE usually wants to come through for them, and I think they did. No show is perfect, and this show definitely had its not-so-great moments as well, but for the most part, I thoroughly enjoyed the show and was very entertained by it. My predictions, on top of that, were fantastic. The only match I got wrong was the New Day and the Dudley's. Everything else I got right. Let's jump right into my opinions on this. You guys all know what to do. Follow me on social media, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and go to my website, GoodMicWorkCommentaries.com, where you can download this and every other commentary I do completely for free if you don't want to watch the YouTube video. You can find me on Stitcher Radio and iTunes as well. Hell in the Cell 2015, I thought, definitely delivered and exceeded expectations. I was very worried about the main event. That's what we're going to start with right away. The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Hell in the Cell, this 13-year-long rivalry is officially coming to an end, and this is the last time, according to WWE anyway, that these two guys will face each other. The match, I think, definitely lived up to expectations and exceeded them for one primary reason: blood. Blood by both guys, and a shitload of blood. We saw more blood in this match than we have in like the last, I don't know, 8 to 10 years it seems like. I don't know what it is about Brock Lesnar. It must be in his contract or something that he says, hey WWE, you fucking morons cannot fine me if I blade or get juice or anything like that in a match. If I want to do it, I'm going to fucking do it. And I swear, in every major match he's in, it's like he's exempt from this supposed blood ban that the WWE has. So I'm okay with blood being used less often, but WWE shying away from blood as hard as they have in the last few years has been a little bit annoying, and I think they've missed some opportunities to have blood when needed. It's nice to see that Brock Lesnar, who really only participates in big-time matches anyway, usually bleeds in these things, and boy, he got some huge amounts of blood pouring out of his face. I think he had 2 cuts. He had one on the top of his head and one over his eye, and then the Undertaker bladed as well. Now, as far as how they happened, you know, they're brawling outside of the ring at first, and Brock Lesnar, he ends up getting his head hit on the ring post, but he almost looks like he blocks it or something. He didn't even do anything, so he did a really good job of hiding the blade job. I don't know how he did it, and because of all that blood, I think it really gave the fans almost like a sigh of relief, like, okay, at least the WWE isn't being, such pussies that they're not even going to let blood be allowed in a match like this. If any match ever calls for it, this is it. We've already seen one Hell in the Cell match already without any blood. Can you really not have it in this match, especially when these two guys are probably not going to put on that great of a match, especially considering what Roman and Bray Wyatt had done? We just know it's going to be a hard-hitting, slow, methodical brawl, a lot of punches, a lot of kicks. So in a storytelling angle like that, in a match like that, you got to have some blood, especially given these two guys' history. So it was nice to see that, and I think that really helped the match. In that case, when you look at it from that point of view, blood was necessary and blood helped. And I'm all in favor of limiting the blood. Everybody doesn't need to bleed all the time, but I think we do need to see it sometimes, and it's nice to see in today's day and age that, as crazy as the WWE has gotten, that we can still sometimes get a match like this that's bloody and brutal and dirty and awesome, and this match definitely was. Was it as good as their 2002 Hell in the Cell match? I don't know. I would probably say no. I really enjoyed that 2002 match. I thought that was extremely brutal. I mean, Undertaker probably bled harder in that than those two guys did in this match combined, and these two guys bled a lot. But in that first one, man, Undertaker was squirting blood out of his head. I think even Paul Heyman got beaten up and got all bloody. So that whole match was filled with all sorts of stuff. I loved, I think Brock Lesnar hit Taker with at least probably 2 F5s near the end of the match there, and finally pins Undertaker in a pool of his own blood. I really liked that match. Then he stood on top of the cell, remember, and held the belt up. I thought that was awesome. So I did enjoy the first one, and I did enjoy this one. As far as which one was better, I don't know. I might give the nod to O2, but you guys can give me your own opinions. I thought this was a nice end and a fitting end to the story. I love the way they were tearing the ring up. I mean, I've never seen the boards exposed before in a match. Maybe when, I don't know, when Nexus came out and they tore the shit out of Raw or whatever. But, that was pretty cool just to see Brock Lesnar randomly start tearing the fucking ring up right in the middle of the match. He gets tombstoned on the exposed wood and kicks out, and I love that everything came full circle, and Brock Lesnar is the one that nutshots the Undertaker this time, setting him up for the F5, nails him with it, gets the 3 count on the Undertaker, and finally ends this feud. I am thrilled that Brock Lesnar won. I was hoping that he would. I got a little nervous when they started running the advertisements for Survivor Series that it's going to be centered around the 25th anniversary of the Undertaker's debut, and I was like, oh shit, this might almost mean that he's going to win. Now it might be more of a tribute type of thing. And to make matters even greater, when you think about the great ride they took us on in the main event, here the end comes. Finally, Brock Lesnar gets the pin on the Undertaker, and then the crowd, in defeat, shows him an unbelievable amount of respect and chanting, "Thank you, Taker." It was almost like you can tell shit's starting to wind down after this loss to Brock Lesnar, what we're probably going to experience next month at Survivor Series, and then rolling into whatever kind of match he has at WrestleMania 32. I'm thinking this might finally be it. I think I've been saying that for the past 3 years, but I think this might be we might be getting close to the end for The Undertaker and for him to actually retire. So with him standing there defeated, but getting all this love and support from the crowd, and you think the show's going to go off the air, and they throw yet another swerve at us, and the Wyatt family comes out. Bray Wyatt, after having lost a brutal match to Roman Reigns, and Undertaker also losing a brutal match to Brock Lesnar, both matches in Hell in the Cell, both losers move right on to something else, and it's almost like, you've forgotten about their previous losses. Now they're involved with each other again. The entire Wyatt family, all 4 of them this time, come out and they basically carry the Undertaker away. It reminded me of, I'm sure it's happened many times with Undertaker and all his fucking magic tricks, but I specifically remember 1996 SummerSlam, the Boiler Room Brawl, when he lost to Mankind and Paul Bearer turned on him. I think like the Druids carried him to the ring in almost the same way that the Wyatt family was carrying him away from Hell in the Cell. So I guess this could basically set up a Survivor Series match between The Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, but the entire Wyatt family is on Bray's side. So who does The Undertaker have? Is he going to be feuding with the entire faction, or is this going to be a one-on-one type of deal? Are they going to put him in there with Bray Wyatt to give him another victory on a pay-per-view leading into WrestleMania 32? Is this just a brief place-holding storyline for Undertaker for him to get another win and have us kind of forget about the Brock Lesnar stuff? Or is this going to be a way to unite him with someone else, like his brother Kane, or Sting's name has come up, or anything like that that could potentially set up an angle or a match at WrestleMania 32. So I guess a lot will be answered on Monday Night Raw. I'm guessing we might not see Undertaker until Survivor Series. Maybe he'll stay off of TV, and I'm guessing he's going to have some sort of a match with Bray Wyatt. I don't know. We can all speculate on where that storyline is headed. I guess we'll know a little bit more after Monday Night Raw. At least we'll get a promo out of Bray Wyatt. I don't know if Undertaker is scheduled to appear. I'm guessing not, the way the Wyatt family carried him off. That'll probably keep him off of TV for a while we all sit and wonder whether or not they raped the poor guy. So Bray Wyatt and the rest of the Wyatt family, I'm sure tomorrow night on Raw, will cut a spooky as fuck promo on what exactly they did with the Undertaker's corpse, and it should be very, very lovely to hear. But all in all, I got to give the main event a solid A, just because I wasn't expecting it to be much. I am not a fan of the modern Hell in the Cells. I think these things are obnoxious. They're 5 times bigger than they used to be. They're an unbelievably large apparatus that's really just a fucking cage that's just on steroids, and to me it's sometimes a little bit overdone, but both Hell in the Cell matches tonight came through, especially the main event, when we thought it really could be a stinker, but they told a good story, and I like the finish, I like the ending, I like the very, very, very ending that they threw at us with the Wyatt family coming out. The overall pay-per-view, I thought, kept me interested just about the whole time. Now, as far as the rest of the pay-per-view goes, let's rewind all the way to the beginning now, and we'll start going through these match by match. The kickoff show, of course, I predicted that the babyfaces would win that match. They did, but what was more exciting about that was the fact that Cesaro was in full-on Brie mode. Holy shit. This guy went off and started going crazy with Wade Barrett, bouncing him from corner to corner. He did the giant swing on Barrett as well. Poor guy got nailed with a sweet-ass red arrow by Neville, and the babyfaces won, but Cesaro was the bigger story there. He went off on everybody. It was awesome to see, and the fans loved it. Cesaro, I think Ziggler even went out and grabbed grabbed a Cesaro section sign and brought it into the ring, almost like, hello, WWE, this guy's over, what the fuck? So it was nice to see in what usually are very, very meaningless and forgotten pre-show matches, something significant actually happened there, and Cesaro made a little bit of a miniature statement. Will the WWE do anything about it? Of course not, because for some fucking reason, they hate Cesaro. We learned during the kickoff show that the show was going to open with John Cena doing his U.S. Open Challenge to kick off Hell in the Cell. That was going to be the very first match. So John Cena comes out to the ring, and the speculation was going on and on Twitter during the kickoff show. I had mentioned in my last commentary maybe Daniel Bryan would be an awesome choice if it was going to be someone from NXT. I think Samoa Joe might be the best guy because, number one, he doesn't have the belt on him like Finn Balor, and number two, he's a veteran and can go in there and win a title on his first night if anybody could. And if not for him, I was almost thinking something really funny like Carlito. We've all heard rumors that Carlito could maybe be coming back to the WWE, or maybe they're interested in him. And when you think about how Carlito started coming into the WWE and beating Cena for the U.S. title on his first night, I thought he could be an interesting choice. And for some reason, since I thought of Carlito, I cannot believe I could not think of Alberto Del Rio. I loved the fact that he returned to WWE tonight. That was fucking awesome. I think the alliance with Zeb Coulter is kind of odd. I'm hoping it's temporary. I'm hoping that the WWE did that to almost like swerve us twice. I thought it was awesome. Nobody saw Del Rio coming. The news of that was not leaked out. WWE did a really good job of keeping it a secret that he would be the opponent. I think we all heard that WWE was interested in bringing him back in because Del Rio is really a good guy, and he had that incident with whoever he slapped. He's not even working for the company anymore. So they figured they could bring this guy back in. And I think putting him with Zeb Coulter was more of them trying to swerve the fans and less of them actually aligning the two. Hopefully the alliance won't last very long, although I loved Zeb in that fucking wheelchair. How great was that? It reminds me of those, you've seen those like infomercials for those wheelchairs and the old people are in them and they take them to the Grand Canyon and all over the fucking place. And I saw that and I laughed my ass off. So what I liked that the WWE did is when Zeb Coulter came out, you're thinking to yourself, oh fuck, Jack Swagger, seriously? We haven't seen Swagger in a while, or at least I haven't. I don't know if he's doing some shit on SmackDown. I haven't seen him in forever. So when you see Zeb come back out, you're thinking, that's who they're going to give the title to? If Cena's going to take time off and they're going to take the belt off of him, they're going to try to remake Swagger? And I was like, okay, I'm into that. I can get behind that, sure. All right, Zeb, finish up your promo and bring him out. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. And then he announces Alberto Del Rio. So I think Zeb was just a way to not only surprise us once, but surprise us twice. So very nicely done by the WWE. And how about the match? First of all, Del Rio looked great. He got a huge pop from the crowd, and he got in there and had a relatively short match. I mean, it didn't go that long, but it almost ended in a surprising way. He hit him with, that backcracker move, and then hit him with that kick of his and just pinned him. Pinned Cena clean. Here Cena is, a guy that kicks out of, 10 to 15 finishers per match, and he kind of goes down quickly like that. You almost didn't see the 3 count coming, but the crowd popped hard, and Del Rio beat John Cena clean, so he put over Owens completely clean back in May, and now he's putting over Del Rio here just a couple of months later. I'm sure when he takes his time off and comes back, he will have rematches and probably will regain the U.S. title from Alberto Del Rio, but I still think it's a great way to bring Alberto back into the company, have him come in and beat John Cena in a clean match. After all these years, I even said I even thought of it during the show, Cena came back a couple years ago, remember? I remember having to do a commentary about it because all the fans were shitting their pants. John Cena, I think, was on the shelf with an injury. Del Rio was world heavyweight champion. This must have been, 2014 or 13? And Cena comes back in his first match, and he returns at Hell in the Cell and defeats Alberto Del Rio for the world heavyweight title. So it's kind of nice to see all of that come full circle and Del Rio come back at the same pay-per-view and do the same thing to him. That's the best we're really going to get out of John Cena these days. He's the only guy that the WWE has decided to make. They don't have any other major star that's on his level because of the decisions that they've made. He's their only guy, so they're not going to completely wreck and bury him now. He's all they've got. So have him losing here or there to guys to make an impact, to make a statement, to start a big storyline or angle. I think that's what John Cena losses should be saved for, and that's why he's only going to lose like this a couple of times a year. So I was happy with the surprise, I was happy with the match, and I was happy with the clean loss. Good for Alberto Del Rio. Congratulations. He came back to WWE and won a belt on his first night back. This is awesome. We're going to get a break from Cena for a few weeks, apparently, while he goes off and does whatever the fuck he's doing. And all in all, I thought it was a positive and awesome start to the show, and it really set the tone for what would be a great pay-per-view. Now, right after that, I believe, is when we got the first Hell in the Cell match. I'm trying to go in order here. I believe it was. Roman Reigns took on Bray Wyatt in the cell. This was a very good match, and they really had to use a lot of tables. This was more of a tables match than it was a cell match. We weren't going to get blood in both, so these guys had to do other things to make the match dramatic, and they had some hellacious table spots, including one really nasty-looking spear that Bray Wyatt took. Roman Reigns speared him right off the apron, right into the table. Looked like a pretty nasty bump. Both guys took a couple of nasty table bumps in this match. Very brutal, very hard-hitting, and very good. I enjoyed the work by both guys. Great near falls in this, one of them especially, when Bray Wyatt, basically came to and just grabbed Roman Reigns and hit him with a sweet, nasty, sick-ass Sister Abigail and got a 2 9/10 count out of the referee, and Roman kicked out at the last minute. Wasn't surprised at all that Roman Reigns was going to dispose of Bray Wyatt. When you follow the storyline, Roman Reigns has to put an end to it tonight, and he did. I thought it was a hell of a match, and I highly enjoyed it. Up next, I believe, was the tag team title match. New Day defending the titles against the Dudley'S. I predicted this match wrong. I thought for sure that the Dudley boys, when you see the way they've been chasing the New Day, and New Day escapes time and time and time again, that they're finally going to catch up to them. And then when they put Xavier Woods on the shelf, leaving only Kofi and Big E to take on Dudley boys in a 2-on-2 match, you were thinking for sure that the Dudley boys were going to win this one. But no, New Day scores another victory with the assist from the trombone. Xavier's not there, but his fucking horn is, and they used it as a weapon in the match. Even Kofi did a little homage to Eddie Guerrero, the way he brought the horn in the ring with the referee's back turned and then threw it right at Bubba Ray Dudley and then fell down on the mat, acted like he got hit with it. And of course, the referee's going to disqualify the Dudley boys, right? But no, he doesn't fall for it, says, nope, you're full of shit. Not going to ring the bell this time. It's not going to work. At this point, you think the New Day is fucked, but no, they still find a way to come away with a victory here and score a pinfall, and they walk away and they're dancing, and Big E is fucking hilarious. The way the match looked tonight, Dudley boys just can't figure it out. New Day has their number. Charlotte, Nikki Bella, I believe, was up next. Now, this was a surprisingly good match, one of Nikki Bella's better matches. I was really impressed with the way they did things. It was almost, a little bit similar to their first match at Night of Champions when Charlotte hurt her knee, and then Nikki kind of just methodically exploited that throughout the whole match. This time, had a very good, balanced, technical approach to her offense. I was just impressed with the way that Nikki was doing things in the ring. I thought it was really good, and you knew that she wasn't going to beat Charlotte. She just had that long run as Divas champion. I wouldn't think there would be anybody out there that would think she would win. Her job now is to help get Charlotte over and help make her, and she's got to, put her over in a couple of these rematches. So tonight's finish was not surprising to me. I'm just happy that Charlotte actually got a competitive match out of Nikki, and I'm glad that the match was not horrible and that Nikki put on a good showing and that Charlotte won. That's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what we got. And surprisingly, one of the worst matches of the night, the WWE title match, is up next. Of course, Seth Rollins is defending the title against Kane. I said in my predictions video that I was a little annoyed with the way the WWE is booking Seth Rollins like a complete piece of shit, and he's got to string up some legit victories here, and there is no outcome in the world that I would accept tonight other than him beating Kane clean. And thank God he did. The match was not that good. Putting Kane in these main events and these title matches, not a big fan of it. I understand that they were just using him as an opponent for Seth Rollins right now because Taker and Brock were headlining, and Seth needed somebody to work with and somebody to beat, and Kane was the guy. But I thought they could have, what's wrong with, Cesaro and guys like that? You know what I mean? That's where I agree with the fans, because this match was not that good. And as good as Seth Rollins is, it's hard when you're in there with a guy like Kane. We all love Kane, but let's face it, the guy's not a teenager anymore, and the quality of his matches has gone down dramatically year after year after year, and on top of that, he's a big guy. So Seth was limited with what he could work with, but Seth did have, of course, like he always does, a few impressive spots in that match because he's athletic as hell, even hit a sweet frog splash at one point on Kane, so there was a few Eddie Guerrero tributes in this show, and even the fans were chanting his name tonight, which was cool to see. But the match finally mercifully ended with Seth Rollins pinning Kane clean right in the middle of the ring and retaining his title, which thrilled me because you guys all know I like Seth Rollins as WWE champion. I'm a big fan of his, and I wish they would book him and use him better. And here he is winning a hard-fought title match on his own by himself, clean, in the middle of the ring. He needs a few more of these. I'll be interested to see who his next opponent is. You know, John Cena is on the shelf for a while, taking time off. When he comes back, he'll be working with Del Rio, so we don't have to worry about being Cena. So I'm curious who Seth Rollins' next world title program will be with. Dean Ambrose, incidentally, and Roman Reigns had some sort of a cryptic backstage exchange. Roman was sitting in the locker room after his hard-fought Hell in the Cell match, and Dean Ambrose comes up to congratulate him, and he goes, "You know what's next, right?" And Roman's like, "Can we just talk about that tomorrow? I got to relax for a while," and he walked away. So whatever is next is, I have no idea. Maybe Roman Reigns might want to challenge for the WWE title or something like that. I have no idea. So, you know, your guess is as good as mine who Seth is going to work with next. But let's hope his opponent is someone a little bit more exciting than Kane. And you got to wonder what's going to happen with Kane now, because now his alter ego, Corporate Kane, is going to lose his job, because that was the stip in the match. If Kane loses, then he loses his job as director of operations. So I don't know what silly-ass turn this storyline is going to take tomorrow night on Raw, if Kane is still going to be two different people, if Corporate Kane is going to have to own up to being fired and he's going to show up on Raw in the suit and tie and be relieved of his duties live on TV and turn back into the demon. I don't know what the fuck. I honestly don't care. The whole thing is goofy as shit anyway, but I would like to think that maybe this whole nonsense has run its course with the Authority and the Director of Operations character and all of that. So who knows what lies ahead for Kane. Hopefully something with his brother, since he's going to need some help, obviously. They had just enough time for a little filler IC title match for you in between the World Heavyweight title match and the main event Hell in the Cell match. Kevin Owens made quick work of Ryback. They did not have much time. I even commented on Twitter before the match even started that match was going to be quick. It wasn't very good. One of the worst matches I've seen Kevin Owens in since he's been in the WWE, but it's not completely his fault. He had no time, and he also had Ryback. That's hard shit to do, and he hit him with a pop-up powerbomb and pinned him, retained his Intercontinental title, which I was thrilled to see. And as far as I'm concerned, Kevin Owens and his title reign can just keep on rolling. All in all, I got to give tonight's pay-per-view a thumbs up, considering some of the pay-per-views that we get in today's day and age and how Monday Night Raws are not setting the world on fire. You know, a show like this that really did a good job of keeping us interested. And I think the WWE, you know, a lot of times they do this because of the crowd they're in. I wish they could treat every show like it was an LA show and try to surprise us all every night like this, because, you know, when you kick off the show the way they did with Zeb Coulter and Alberto Del Rio, and then throw blood at us in the main event and have the middle of the card pretty goddamn solid, including solid women's work. The whole pay-per-view was extremely well balanced, and it kept me interested, like I said, most of the time. There was just a few dead spots in there, here or there, but for the most part, I enjoyed the pay-per-view, and I thought the WWE definitely did a good job and came through for the Los Angeles crowd. Raw is actually here, not far away from me, just a few miles away tomorrow night right here in San Diego. I am not going to go to the show. I have not been to a show in many, many years. I am starting to think that I should go to one of these days, but unfortunately, if any of you live in the San Diego area and are going to be at Monday Night Raw, I will not be there. One of these days, I will get my ass down to a show. They come here a few times a year, and for some reason, I just never go, but one of these days, I will, I promise you. I will be interested to see what they do tomorrow night on Raw, because we have a lot of new storylines now. We have to see what Alberto Del Rio has to say. Obviously, we have to see what the Wyatt family has to say. There's no direction right now for Brock Lesnar. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not even on the show, because he finished his business with Undertaker. He came to Hell in the Cell and did what he needed to do, so he might be off TV again until they start figuring out what to do with him, his next opponent, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, shit like that. Undertaker, I imagine, will probably also be off Raw because of what we saw with the Wyatt family, but Bray will definitely be there to explain himself, and hopefully we'll get some sort of a nice outline of what we're looking at going into Survivor Series. I think I mentioned months ago that when Undertaker's 25th anniversary was coming up, that the WWE should do something to acknowledge that, something, anything. And not only have they acknowledged it, but it looks like they are billing the entire Survivor Series pay-per-view around this silver anniversary of The Undertaker. So I think that's really cool, and for once, I'm actually looking forward to Survivor Series. Anyway, leave me your opinions on Hell in the Cell, what you thought of the show. I will do my best to come up here this week and review Raw. I think I'm going to have to, because a lot of new storylines are going to be breaking tomorrow night after Raw. It'll probably be late Tuesday night / Wednesday when you do hear from me on that Raw review, but I definitely will be up here to give you one, and I should be live tweeting as well. As far as I know, I have no plans tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw, so if you want to join me on Twitter, please do at GoodMicWork. I'll be giving live reactions throughout the show. Thanks again for listening. I hope you enjoyed Hell in the Cell at least half as much as I did, and let me know what you thought about it. Until next time, peace.